Don't be afraid to fail. Because I failed a lot. And actually, I've learned a lot from my failures. But I couldn't see that. Hindsight is a wonderful thing.
Welcome to Architecture Business Club, the show that helps you build a better business in architecture so you can enjoy more freedom, flexibility and fulfillment. I'm your host, Jon Clayton, and if you're joining us for the first time, don't forget to hit that follow or subscribe button so you never miss another episode. Today, we're joined by Joshua Ayettey. Joshua is a chartered architect and a creative problem solver. He is passionate about improving the way people live through good design and mentoring the next generation of problem-solving designers. Joshua is also the founder of JADC Studio and Scattered Hub, which we're going to be talking a bit more about in this episode. So if you'd like to learn more, head over to jadcstudio.com to learn more about Joshua, or click the link in the show notes. I think a good place to start would be just a quick explanation of what is the Scattered Hub.
Scattered Hub is about mentoring, but then there's also a bigger picture as well. And the clue is in the name. So I look at Scattered Hub as being this hub of different individuals who've been mentored. Maybe one's in Birmingham, maybe one's in London. And they're all training to be architects. And so they're scattered. And then they're a hub because they have a way of coming together and maybe collaborating, maybe helping each other.
Could you share a little bit about how this came about? Maybe share a little bit about your background and how it led to you starting this group?
It sort of happened organically, and that's, I think it's quite beautiful. Anything that starts organically is quite interesting where it ends up. You know, you've only got to look at certain companies that sort of started organically. I sort of struggled throughout my architectural training. I wouldn't say I was very academic, but I was very good at maths and I was creative. I was a problem solver. And so I've sort of problem solved my way through architectural training. And I've found that along the way, when I've been struggling, I've also found myself helping others who might be struggling with things that I've solved. I have memories of being in my final year, and you know, when I should have been focusing on my project, I was helping a second year student with their work. There was a young guy in the church I was in. We wanted to be an architect, and I said, okay, I'll try and help you. Got him some work experience where I was doing my part one. And then I guess organic, naturally, because we were always seeing each other and he was trying to get different opportunities, I just found myself helping him. And so then the next time I was helping him was when he was part one. He'd been looking for a job for a year and he was about to quit everything. He had lost all confidence and he just felt like maybe this isn't the right thing for me. And so I was like, right, let's look at your portfolio. Looked at his portfolio, you know, gave him a few pointers, looked at his LinkedIn and was like, look, this is how you can promote yourself better. And guess what? He got a job in a very good architectural firm in his area. And it just got me thinking, oh, I'm actually quite good at this. I wonder if I could help more people. And at the same time, I had my mum, who's very proud of me. And, you know, anyone who's saying, oh, my daughter or son's doing architecture, oh, yeah, my son's training as well, you know, maybe he could help them. And so that's how I was getting referrals, you could say. I was just helping my mum's friends' children throughout, you know, and they are actually the current cohort of the Scattered Hub. I started off doing like one-on-one, spending quite a long time with them, looking through the portfolio, being very critical as well. So not being nice and saying, oh yeah, that's really great. Although it's great, like trying to prepare them for the world that they're going into, that is actually quite cutthroat at times. And actually, you know, as architects, we're designing buildings that have to meet a lot of stringent requirements. And actually often someone's paying a lot of money to conceive this idea. So we've got to realize that everything we do has to have a reason. So I'd ask them, why have we done this? Why have we put this there? And, you know, stuff like that. So I started mentoring this young guy from the age of 16. And he finished his part 2 at Manchester School of Architecture last year. And he now is working in practice as a part 2. So you can imagine how many years, you know, that's been. But so he was the first mentee. I started my company in 2023. And that sort of coincided with a lot of the work I was doing with him, and then also the work I was doing with other individuals. So I sort of thought, oh, I wonder if after helping all these people, maybe they might want to try and help the company in some way. But because I have experience of doing a part one job as an intern, unpaid, by the way, in London, and a nice part of London, I thought, I'm not going to exploit them. I want to be able to pay them. So I actually, and if they were ever interviewed, they would be able to say, yeah, Josh talked to us about paying us and trying to have a contract maybe. But it got really complicated. And I just thought, you know what, let's just keep things simple. Scattered Hub. And in many years to come, when they all make it to wherever they make it, they'll all remember the input, hopefully, and that will hopefully encourage them to help people, and it'll be like a ripple effect.
That's really interesting. So it sounds like it's sort of grown, or it's been organic in how it's kind of come about. Before this kind of got started, you mentioned about like you'd had some struggles yourself when you'd been studying. Could we talk a little bit about that? Because I feel that that's probably quite a catalyst for this kind of coming about.
I mean, it took me 13 years to get that title. In my degree, struggled. I understood the subject matter, and I knew I was able to come up with good ideas. I just really struggled to convey them in the way that my tutors wanted me to. So to create all these crazy visuals and all that sort of stuff. And they would often say, oh, look, we're hearing it, we're not seeing it. And I just really struggled to find the bridge that worked for me, though, because I think we've all got our medium. And then eventually I found that, model making, I like making models. The people in the Scattered Hub, we've all got similar, I guess we've all struggled with the similar stuff. Yeah, so got through my degree just about, and there were other things that happened during my degree that weren't so good. So I had a mental health crisis that really has transformed how I work, because I basically found my limit. I found that now I can't do all-nighters to get work done. I've got to find a way to make it work. But anyway, and I did my part 2. I failed my final year, and I had to repeat that. But then that taught me lessons that actually have been invaluable. And then with my part 3, I failed my part 3 exam first time, passed it second time. So I've had a lot of different failures along my journey that have actually, become catalysts for this movement. Maybe it's a movement. Oh gosh, I hadn't actually. That just came out. Don't know where that came from. Scattered Hub probably has been birthed out of my struggles, my journey to qualification. That's probably what's then motivated me to see the need to give back and to try and elevate these individuals, even if they go further than I can go. It doesn't matter if they become better than me, whatever. It's just about trying to bring people with me on the journey rather than using people to just get higher and higher and higher.
I can relate to that. I mean, I think this podcast, this show was really born out of my experience, like my struggles of running a small practice, with being a sole practitioner primarily, and not having a grasp of business and marketing and sales and all of those things that we have to do as small business owners that we don't get taught when we go to architecture school or university. So I absolutely get like those experiences and challenges that you go through, that they inform and can be a catalyst for something really good, even though at the time they can be really difficult for you. It can lead to some really good things. So that's great. I'm glad that there is something that's from those personal challenges. There's something good that's come out of the other side. Yeah. Could you share a little bit about kind of setting up the group?
I was acutely aware that I had to start to make this a more formal arrangement, because I was finding myself in situations where I'm giving up time for free, because at the moment it is free because it's happened organically and I hadn't planned. I didn't have a business plan or whatever about, maybe doing this to make money. And I still don't know whether I would do it to make money, or I don't know. Anyway, but so I realized, right, we've got to make this serious so that time isn't wasted. It's like, I'm giving you time, and you're going to take what's being suggested and try and do something with it, because it's quite valuable, this information. If I had it at your stage, I would just run with it, because I desperately need it. So I got in touch with 2 other friends who are qualified architects, and I decided to set up a WhatsApp group, because I thought, if we're all in a WhatsApp group together, question goes in, everyone sees it, and it almost becomes a peer-to-peer reviewing platform where you can ask the architects a question, but then you can also ask another person who's at your stage, I got this problem. Anyone know how to fix it? And that's been interesting, because I then had to come up with rules for it as well, because it was like, right, lots of people in a WhatsApp group, you got numbers in there, like you don't add someone's number and start harassing them or whatever, stuff to that effect. And I got them to actually verbally or via WhatsApp read the code of conduct and then reply saying, yes, I'm happy with this, before being added to the group. So lots of things like that. And then, so it's now, we've got a LinkedIn page. Originally, the focus was just help graduates get part 1 jobs, because that was what was really hard. They've done the uni bit, but they just can't get their job. They don't know how to position themselves. So far, we've helped 3 graduates get jobs in different areas. And that's cool. And the testimonies that they've written are actually on my LinkedIn page in the featured section, and also on the Scattered Hub LinkedIn page. It sort of transitioned from that to, okay, some of these graduates are struggling so much, they're thinking, maybe I should look at other avenues. So it's really cool, John. I've got one of our individuals is actually working in a kitchen company at the moment. And I've been trying to encourage them, and thankfully they can see it, that they're getting such invaluable experience, because they're getting sales experience. There's a specific brief for a kitchen. So actually they're learning about how to interpret the needs of their customers, take what the problem is, and then try and find the right solution. People often follow trends when it comes to style and taste. And so, and then we've got another person who's doing visualization at the moment. So what seems to be happening now is that the focus isn't just on how can I become an architect. It's just how can I use what I'm learning as in my training and take it, I don't know, somewhere else. Yeah. And so it's quite
transferable skills.
Yeah. So I've found that I set it up as one thing, and I had this sort of, okay, maybe this is what they need, but then and it's really exciting. They're sort of using the group in ways that I hadn't even thought about. But it's great. I think that's the beauty of it, actually. But I've also had to obviously make sure that can still be contained, because I think it's important, because actually, for lots of reasons that I've already mentioned, privacy. Actually, these are individuals living their own private lives, and we've got to make sure that, I guess maybe I'm forming a community and I don't even realize it. That's what I'm sort of doing. I'm actually creating a forum.
Yeah.
Whereas I thought it was just like, this is just an easy way for me to manage these different mentees and help them out without actually taxing my time, which I need to give to my clients, because I was just running out of time. I couldn't do all these one-to-ones and then do all these architect stuff, and then it's actually leading to other avenues and stuff. So, yeah. I think that's a very long answer to your question, but
it's okay. It's okay. It's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you say about it becoming a community, not necessarily being what you'd originally set out to do, but it is organically manifesting into that. So that's really interesting. So we talked a little bit, you shared a few sort of wins that people within the group have had. You've mentioned about some part 1s that have managed to secure jobs, which is amazing. Is there any other wins that you want to share? Basically, what do people get out of the group?
That's a good, So actually, although yes, it's great that people are getting jobs, what's better than all of that is the confidence boost and people growing. Because actually, it's a bit like how I imagine if you have a life coach and they're just helping you on your journey. And I guess maybe because one of my struggles with my architectural training was like identity and like trying to see my place in the industry and where do I belong? Because actually, that's quite important for us as designers. Like we think about that, because when we're designing, we're actually putting ourselves into what we're doing, and that's actually what makes us really good at our jobs, that we bring ourselves into our work. And that's what I think is very unique about the architectural profession. And I don't mean just for architects, architectural technologists, anyone involved in designing buildings. I think, what makes us good is that we can do that, but also we can meet the brief. Then it's really encouraging when I'm reading some of these testimonials and they're talking about how it's really helped with their confidence and their self-esteem, and they've just got more, they feel more, they're more optimistic about their future, because a lot of them, when I talk to them, they say that they feel like actually there isn't as much help for their generation. Because actually this is the next generation. And even for me as a millennial architect, I think, yeah, wow, it almost feels like things are better when you didn't have to pay to do your, when you were paid to go to university. I mean, I had a baby boomer tell me he was paid to go to university. I was just like, what? I mean, I'm not going to tell you how much student debt I've got, and I'm trying to work out how to recoup it through my fees. But anyway, that's a whole nother podcast. So, yeah, it's
absolutely.
So it's just really encouraging. I think that, if anything, the main goal is just to boost confidence.
I'm glad you've shared that, because when we think about wins and successes, that a win or a success for a member, it doesn't necessarily have to be something quantifiable, like they got a job. That thing about it, building confidence, them feeling supported, all of that stuff is really valuable. That is still a win. It's just not the same kind of win. It's a little bit harder to quantify it, but it is equally, if not even more valuable. The way that group makes people feel, if that gives them that confidence boost and they feel supported and they get all that from it, that's amazing. That's really great reason to be part of the group. What about you? I mean, how does this group benefit you? What do you get out of it?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, I've always liked helping people, and I think it's partly because of how I've been raised. So my parents, I've grown up with watching my parents help people, and so that's inspired me. And yeah, actually, that's quite a key influence. My mum especially has been quite generous, and so and also my Christian faith has also been an influence, because I try and live as she just did, and I want to help people. But then also just, I think, going back to my struggles, just seeing, I guess, experiencing the journey without the help. That's the key. And so thinking, oh, wow, almost like having to do it the hard way. Now, I'm not saying no one's helped me. Of course, I've received help. But there's been certain ways that I've needed people to help me that I've partly not known that I needed that type of help. So I wouldn't have known how to ask for it. I recently did something called a motivational map with a business coach that I know. And what was really interesting, and it really surprised me actually, is my two top sort of motivations were purpose, and I forget what the other one was, but those two meant that actually I'm very well suited for being a coach and a mentor. So I thought that's just quite interesting. I just did this thing. I didn't know what was going to come out, and it turns out I'm actually meant to be a coach. Maybe I won't be an architect forever. I don't know. Or maybe I can do both. I just enjoy it. I can't explain it, but it's like a passion. I guess like the person who likes playing drums, or the person who likes running, because I don't know how people. I don't know if you like running, but I look at runners and I think, you're definitely passionate about that, because it makes me come alive, and like many other passions that I have.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, what better reason do you need than that one? It fills your cup, and that's great if you find something, and that's whether it's paid or not. Like I'm not motivated by money. This podcast, I do this for free. People can go and listen to this or watch this now, and it doesn't cost them anything to access the things that we share on here. And again, I do it because I struggled with it. So I want to give something back. And I think that's a great reason to do it, Yeah. And as long as you got time to fit it in amongst all of the other things that you no doubt have going on with life and work and all the rest of it, then long may it continue. How would you like to see this group develop in the future?
I think I actually like the idea of it being a community, and I think what would be really cool is just lots of individuals who have been impacted by the work of Scattered Hub. Maybe there's a project that comes up, like some form of tender, and you've got all these people who happen to have something in common. They were all part of the community, and they just decide, oh, you know what? Let's just come together. Let's collaborate, and let's create. Because I think that's it. Because that'll be it's a way of bringing people together. Because I think something that I'm trying to do in my business is actually collaborate more. So work with other people, because we all have something unique to bring to the table. And we do all need to eat.
Yeah.
We do need to make money, regardless of whether we're motivated by money or not. Because I would say I'm not trying to become a millionaire, and I'm not, but at the same time I do have a mortgage to pay and all that sort of stuff. So it's like getting the right balance, isn't it? Because we go into design roles because we just love designing, and we love, because we all know that it doesn't pay as much as being a lawyer or whatever, but that's not why we go into it. The overall goal that I had of it being like an ecosystem of different designers is still going to remain, but maybe it's going to look very different. Like what it looks like is going to look very different. And so, I don't even know if that answers your question, but
that's okay. It's you've answered it honestly. That's fine. You don't have a crystal ball, so maybe that it just continues to develop organically, and then maybe that's something exciting to see where it leads. Just touching on your point about bringing people together to be able to collaborate on projects and things. I would just mention that there was a couple of episodes that I made previously that for anybody that's watching or listening to this, you might want to check out. So there was an interview that we did with Tom Lewith, who is one of the co-founders of New Works, and Tom talked about their approach to projects now, and they are taking an approach where they're being more collaborative with how they work. They're only focusing on certain work stages, and then they're collaborating with other companies and partnering up with them to be able to, essentially do more of the work that they really enjoy doing, and also be able to work on potentially bigger projects as well. And there was another one that Kevin Kennan, who is an architect from the States, and he talked about building project-based teams. So this idea of, rather than thinking about, in order to grow your practice, you need to hire extra staff members, sort of permanent staff or whatever. He talked about this idea of just bringing a team together for a project, like you could do with the people in the Scattered Hub, that they could all go, we could all club together here. We could work together on this project. So if you're interested in that concept, then those episodes are definitely worth checking out. So it's just a little plug there for some of the other content that we have here.
That's interesting. Channel. I didn't know about that, so I'm going to check those people out as well. Yeah,
go and check them out. I will send you the links after we get done with this recording. If there's anybody that has been listening or watching our conversation, do you have any tips for them if they're thinking, I'd quite like to launch some kind of community group or discussion group? Do you have any tips or recommendations for them?
Yeah, I guess I'd say that if they've got ideas, put them out there. So that's a great way of testing your concept. So people who know me well know that I like to share what I'm doing, and I've found over the years actually that the more people I talk to about what I'm doing, the more advice I get, because someone might just say, that sounds interesting. Earlier we were saying that it's taken a long time to set up this podcast, and that's partly been because I've not wanted to put myself out there. I've sort of been a bit hesitant to put myself into what I call the ether. But now I'm finding, no, this is actually the best thing, because the more we all do this, then the more, creativity and innovation we can have. So yeah, I guess that would be my main tip. Don't be afraid. I think that with ideas, every idea actually probably could be considered a good idea, as long as it's put through the mill of different people having the chance to interrogate it and shape it, and maybe even push back, so that you can then and you can refine your ideas. So yeah, that would probably be my tip.
Okay, I like that. So you're encouraging people to just test their ideas and put it out there, and then they can figure out what works, what are the good ideas, and which are the ones that maybe not so good. So I think that is a very good suggestion, I think, because you mentioned there about you've been feeling like, a bit nervous, maybe putting myself out there and talking on things like podcasts, but you're doing it now. You're doing it, and you've been able to share something of value today. So that's been really great. And you've got your new podcasting mic now as well. So, there's no stopping you.
Gotta get my money's worth.
You've got to get your money's worth out of that mic. What would be the main thing that you would like everyone to take away from our conversation today?
Don't be afraid to fail. Because I failed a lot. And actually, I've learned a lot from my failures. But I couldn't see that. Hindsight is a wonderful thing. Because in the failure, I was just like, in fact, October last year, I almost quit everything because I was just, and I'm saying this on a podcast, so my clients are going to see this, but actually, I just took a step back, realized, no, you're just having a tough time because you're self-employed, you're young, you've still got a lot to learn. And so I just changed my mindset. But I didn't do that overnight. I had to talk to people who were like, no, Josh, don't just, you're being hard on yourself. Just relax. Just stop looking at LinkedIn and all these people saying they've made this and this and that. Just do what you're good at. That's the key thing. Don't be afraid of failure, and surround yourself with people who reflect where you want to get to.
Was there anything else you wanted to say that we haven't already covered?
I think that it'd be really cool, and I know there are architects doing this already, but if architects would start going into schools, and because architecture has lost a lot of relevance in that when I tell young people I'm an architect, I'm often surprised by the fact that they ask me what is an architect, what does an architect do? Because people don't realize, actually, I think we're so used to what we do, and I guess architectural practitioners, so everyone in this, but we don't realize that people don't actually understand what we do. And actually it starts, if we go to the grassroots and start in the schools, I know we're busy, but surely we can make time for the next generations, because otherwise we'll have young people that think, oh, well, architects don't make a lot of money, so I want to be this person who, when actually it's not about money, as we've said. I get a lot of joy just doing what I do, and I think young people need to understand that choosing a job because it's going to pay you a six-figure salary is not the road. Well, it's not always the road, so I don't want to disrespect anyone who has gone on that road, but that's not the only thing to pursue in life.
Yeah, so true. Thanks for sharing that, Joshua. Really appreciate it. I've got one last question for you. What's one resource that you use in your business that you couldn't live without? So this could be a website, an app, software, a book, podcasts, anything.
Oh, that's a really good question. Something I use in my business. You know what, actually? I listen to a lot of podcasts, but non-architectural ones. So a lot of business related systems thinking. I like learning. Well, I like listening to stuff, go for a walk. So, and I watch a lot of Dragon's Den and Shark Tank, and actually I've picked up a lot of business tips just from watching people go on there and pitch their idea. In the advent of AI, I actually have been following the Google DeepMind podcasts that are presented by Hannah Fry and Professor Hannah Fry. But what I've been doing is I started at the very beginning because I wanted to understand the hype behind AI. Why is everyone so excited? And in doing that, I've seen the work of scientists. I mean, what we're seeing of AI is just the surface. And yes, there are people saying, oh, we need to be careful. And we do. Because I think it's going to bring a new infrastructure, let's say. I've just been getting excited because it's also helping me to see where I will fit in the industry, because my company will use AI, but we're going to do it ethically and we're going to be transparent. We're not going to start creating architecture of AI, but I think that's been really invaluable to be able to see what's under the hood, be able to understand, have the opportunity that actually hasn't existed in the past to look behind the curtain and see, wow, so this is actually what's going on. This is the journey. And so, yeah, that's been a current favorite podcast.
Ooh, that sounds really good. I'm going to check that one out. We also made some AI themed episodes recently, so you might want to check out the episode with Brian McCartney and a recent episode with Tim Lewis as well. So Tim's was about AI versus automation, and then Brian was talking about some practical ways that architects and other service-based business owners can use AI to do the tasks that they don't enjoy doing, so they can do more of the work that they love, designing amazing spaces. Josh, thank you so much for joining me today. Really enjoyed the conversation. Do you want to just remind people the best place to connect with you online?
We've got the LinkedIn page, JADC Studio. We've got the Instagram at JADC Studio. And also we've got the website, jadcstudio.com or jadc.studio will also take you to the website. Lots of different ways to get in touch. And yeah, I'd love to connect with like-minded individuals, people who are interested in what I've been saying and talking about today.